Hello and welcome to the Basement Lab podcast. Today we are discussing sports in college, specifically why you might want to avoid doing them. I am Jordan,
And I'm Sebastian, and I'm still raising my hand.
and for those that don't know, we were both collegiate athletes for our undergrad. I was here at Mizzou, so a D1 school. I tried out for baseball, unfortunately didn't make that one. Yeah, sad. But I was a cheerleader at Mizzou for the university itself. I was also in gymnastics for a private school. I was a gymnastics coach, and I also did martial arts on my own. I did occasionally meet up with some of the Mizzou clubs, but yeah, I was pretty active as an undergrad.
I did D3 soccer, not as demanding as a D1, but still, you like sports, so you want to do your best.
Yeah. So anyway, we no longer do sports for the colleges. I actually did my martial arts through my master's all the way into part of my PhD program. That was, again, on my own, although occasionally I did do some stuff for clubs. But I stopped cheerleading and I stopped gymnastics once I graduated with my bachelor's.
Now, just as a little disclaimer, Jordan and I are very jaded individuals when it comes to collegiate sports. So we're not telling you to quit your career, or if you're a prospect or thinking about going to play collegiate sports, don't. We're just telling you that maybe you shouldn't take it as serious as
We did.
we did and as a lot of people do,
Yeah.
because at the grand scheme of it all, the only thing you're left with, and I've told Jordan this tons of time, is broken body parts and scars.
Yeah. So this discussion actually arose from we were at a pub with one of our fellow scientists from the lab, and we were discussing being athletes and why we were never going to let our kids play football specifically. And it spiraled from there where we started talking about injuries and
And
time
drugs,
commitments and yeah.
painkillers, and why, at least for myself, even when I have a headache, I try not to take, acetaminophenes or ibuprofen, because I used to take more than I should have.
I actually can't even take ibuprofen right now, and
Yes.
it's been years since I've ever taken it. But anyway, the reason we are talking about this is, again, unless you're going professional or you just have an undying love that you cannot see past, you might really want to consider.
Toning it down a lot.
High school sports is bad enough. I have several injuries from high school sports. When you get to college, unless you're going pro, I'm sorry, but the pros and the cons just don't add up.
I mean, I broke my hip when I was 16. That's usually something that happens when you're 86. I had surgery in both my legs when I was 21. I mean, I've known people that have torn, I should say, ACLs, MCLs,
Mm-hmm.
all those fun CLs more than once before they were even 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the time commitment is absurd. I was putting in, what were we putting in? Something like 20 hours a week on sports on top of being full-time students, on top
Preseason,
of on top of anything else that you need to do, social life, studying, work.
Breakfast Club lifting,
Yeah.
classes, study hours, evening practices,
And again,
game, travel time.
and unless you're a D1 athlete at a prime university for that sport, you are not getting help.
Nope.
Now, again, if you're a football player at Mizzou and you're going first round draft, I can assure you that they get help. They get lots of it. I can assure you that I did not, nor did Sebastian, nor did a lot of the friends I have. Now, I do have friends that came from several sports. Some of them have gone pro. Great people, worked hard, all that. But, I mean, they were honest. They got help and we didn't. And there are a lot of my friends that were athletes that didn't get help in any way. And now you live with the memories and the pain. A
Mostly the pain.
lot of the pain.
A lot of pain.
So
Suffer GPAs.
So for me, I completely tore my labrum in my right shoulder. That was actually maybe the most minor of the injuries in my shoulder. It had to be completely reconstructed by one of the best surgeons in the country, by the way, for orthopedic surgery. And he was still like, yeah, no, that was an insane surgery. Like, your shoulder is terrible. I have lost multiple teeth from contact to the mouth. I have two completely fake teeth and another four teeth that are partially filled in because of brokenness. I have had more concussions than I would like to admit. I am actually really worried about CTE because I am definitely in that range of people who are going to have damage permanently from CTE. I have
Don't kill anyone.
yeah, I had a stunted, compressed back muscle right along the spine. I have both my knees are bad just from overuse, overextensions, hyperextensions,
Basically, sounds like
strains.
Jordan is a $6 million man
Yeah.
with a $150 budget.
And the school didn't pay for any of my surgeries.
I luckily had my undergrad university foot the bill for my surgery. I don't know how, but it was supposed to be like a $200,000 surgery for like really it's a 45-minute procedure. For those of you have tendonitis, fasciitis, that's what it's called, fancy term. Basically, they just go in there, slit the casing around your calf muscle, in and out, 45 minutes, both legs. It was going to cost $200,000. Somehow my school covered it, it disappeared, and I didn't have to pay a dime, which I
Yeah,
was very fortunate for that one.
mine was not covered.
Um, yeah, just relax, enjoy your young adulthood. I know that when I did my undergrad in 5 years, so my first 4 years played college ball. On my fifth year, I got a job. I had a social life outside of sports,
Mm,
which is a completely different world. My grades shot up because I had so much more time to study, so my GPA literally went through the roof. I pulled myself in a massive hole. Yeah, I had fun my fifth year of college. I had a lot of fun.
See, I was working as a bouncer during the school year, and that was also fun. Being a bouncer, again, a job you shouldn't do unless you absolutely have to. But I was a bouncer for a local club, and then I did construction work over the summers and winter breaks, unless I could pick up a conservation job, so working with wildlife biology. Once I quit,
It's amazing.
yeah, it was pretty amazing. My master's, I wish I could go back to actually having that money.
And another thing that really, really, really bothers me about collegiate sports, and this is something that has been an argument since the NCAA has been around,
Mm.
is paying your players. You have these huge schools that just bring in so much money. The athletes are not seeing a dime, quote unquote, not seeing a dime.
Hmm.
You know good and well there's some very shady stuff going on to let these players benefit a little bit.
Yeah.
Case in point, I don't want to drag him under the mud or anything, but we have a certain basketball player at
Mm.
Mizzou, which he had committed to a different university. Something weird happened. We got him, and along with the deal, his parental figure also became part of
An
an
employee.
employee of the school, and I'm pretty sure a sibling got a scholarship too.
Yes. That
So
may have been on their own though, because they're pretty good too. But
I'm not sure the extent of the legality on that, but people do find loopholes through the NCAA rulebook.
I mean, we see reports on it in every sport every year.
I mean, just save yourself some time. Allow a percentage of this
Well,
revenue to
well,
go to the
even
students, whether it's a scholarship or whatever.
well, even if you don't want to pay them, allow them to go earn money off being an athlete. Allow them to have their own sponsorships, and if you put them in a game, pay them for their likeness. Maybe don't pay them to play for you. That's fine. I understand. I agree with that. But then you don't own that person. They're not a slave. They're a human being. They're an athlete. If they want to go be on a Wheaties box, they should get that money. I don't understand that. Like how the NCAA can say, nope, nope, we get that money.
I
So
gotta, I gotta Google something because I'm pretty sure I've heard some ridiculous stats.
So anyway, injuries are not worth it. Time's not worth it. The money is definitely not worth it unless you're a select
Yeah.
few. Another thing that we alluded to is that in order to get over a lot of your injuries, you end up taking a whole lot of pain pills that do a whole lot of damage to your kidneys and liver.
Yeah, listen to this little
So,
little tidbit of information. Auburn Athletics finished physical year 2015-2016 ending on June 30th with record revenues of $137 million dollars and an operating surplus of $13 million. Actual revenue exceeded budget by $8.8 million dollars. So this isn't like a couple $1,000 that they're making on the side for their collegiate athletes. They're racking in big bucks, big donorships.
the highest paid state employee in I think 49 states is an athletic coach of some sort.
No.
That's that is outstanding. Like I can't even. How is the highest paid government employee an athletic coach?
Yeah, pay the kids.
Ugh.
Pay the kids, guys.
So yeah,
That was our little rant, little tangent on.
it comes up because again we're both athletes. We both groan when we stand up. We both pop when we stretch. And also right now, we have the NCAA Final Fours.
And just looking at people in the draft and prospects, and then the
Yeah,
high school players coming up into the collegiate world, and what their ranking is, and their stocks, and drafts of all stuff. People going announcing that they're going to go to the NBA draft, the NHL draft, all types of drafts. And sometimes you sit there and it's like, wow, this kid's 19 and he's going pro. Where did I go wrong in
by the
my
way,
life?
I never blame those kids, and I absolutely think they should. You only have one chance to make $5 million
Yeah.
in a year. You have the rest of your life to come back to college. So I think if they are smart, like you're supposed to be in college, you absolutely take that deal and come back later.
But do they
People
come
get
back?
really mad.
Probably
Well, even if
not.
they don't, I don't care. Like if I could leave tomorrow and make $5 million, I would piece out of my PhD program because
Just put it on pause.
I don't need to graduate with my PhD. I do need $5 million to pay off my debts. um, so yeah. Anyway, it's not that we don't like sports. We
I
love
love
it.
sports. I still
I
play
love
sports.
watching sports.
I love watching sports. I follow them. Every Sunday I go and play soccer.
Hmm.
Not competitively, of course, because if I run more than 100 feet, I will die.
But we do think that unless you're going pro, you should really, really consider it.
Prioritize. I
Yeah.
think that's what I would go with. I wouldn't say don't do sports. I would say prioritize properly
Yeah.
because I know for myself, since I was 5, I only ate, breathed, and slept soccer. I would travel across 3 states to play one game. And for those of you not familiar with soccer, a soccer game lasts about an hour and a half. So I would travel
Feels
across.
like eternity when you watch it.
I would cross 3 states to play an hour and a half,
Hmm.
and spend money on home kits, away kits, sweaters, warm ups,
Yep.
backpacks,
Yep. There's a lot of money involved.
boots. I can't tell you. I think the most expensive boots I ever had were like $300-$400, and they tear up in like a season.
And again, here's another thing to help put it in perspective, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, you guys are just bitter you didn't make it." Well, here's the thing: my father went to college on a soccer scholarship. That's how he paid for college. My eldest brother played baseball in college. My middle brother played football in college. I did cheerleading in college. Sebastian did soccer in college. I have family and friends that, like I said, were in football, basketball, baseball, hockey, swimming, wrestling. You want to know what anyone thinks about that anymore?
Nothing.
They don't care.
Nothing.
They don't care. What matters is the fact that I have a master's, that I have work experience, and I'm working on my PhD.
Yeah.
Not that I was a college athlete. Everyone says like, "Oh, that's nice. What does that have to do with your
Yeah.
PhD?"
It's a nice conversation piece in an interview. It'd be like, oh yeah, you play sports? What'd you play? Soccer? Oh wow, I played baseball. Cool, cool. All right, good talk.
And yeah, that's about it. That's about the extent of it. Because honestly, I don't want to talk about it. It's
No.
not important to me. Like,
And they say, being a team player helps you on your resume or your interview. I guess.
No,
Maybe,
no.
not really.
GPA, club, sports, all that, it doesn't actually matter.
Actual academic skills,
They just want to know what you've researched and who you've worked for.
that's what really matters.
Yeah.
Prioritize.
So, really consider it,
If you're
kids.
not going
Or
pro,
for your kids, really consider
if
it.
you're not going pro, focus on your studies. Don't let a sport compromise your studies. Because
Yeah.
when you graduate your undergrad with a 2.5 GPA, it's going to be real hard to find a job.
Yeah. You're not going to get the job offer just because you played football for Northwestern. You're going to get that job because you have a degree from Northwestern. Yeah. So, just keep that in mind, guys.
All right,
Well,
guys.
that was it for us today. Again, two scientists' views on sports in college. We will see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.